One of the reasons for inequality is the distribution of television money, but there's also the elite player performance programme, which effectively robs lower level clubs both of the ability to progress with their own players and do well, but also to secure as much revenue from the sale of those players as they used to. Do you think the structure of football itself is widening this inequality?
I think EPPP is really interesting. For those who aren't familiar with it, as Alex said, it's a measure, the elite player performance plan. I believe that reduced the ability of lower league or teams in general to monetize the players they developed. So it meant that if a big club came in and wanted a 16, 17-year-old, they could buy them for a lot less than in the past. Now, a direct consequence of that was that a number of lower league teams closed their youth schemes. It's hard. I didn't hear the point of view of this from a Premiership side, so I haven't strictly heard all the sides in that debate. And the sense that I got was some of the reluctance from coaches about it stemmed also from the amount of paperwork they had to do and stuff like that. So it may not have been literally about losing players. But again, there's a tension here because it's like, and there's also this, I think in football there's a lot of myth, right? The unchallenged assumption. And this whole idea that teams in some golden age of the past, lower league teams, made loads of money from selling on players. That was contested by Stefan Szymanski, one of the sports economists I wrote to. And again, it's hard to know that. Another point that's often raised is that the Bosman ruling that basically brought football employment contracts in term with wider EU law in the mid-1990s, that made it harder for clubs to sell. This wasn't the main focus of my piece, and I didn't drill into it sufficiently to be able to give an unequivocal answer. I think there is a sense across that kind of lower league thing that they're being screwed, right, by the big boys. And I think there's probably a lot of truth in that. But on the other hand, there's this whole other objective that, you've got keeping a vibrant lower league game, then you've got building an English national side that might win something. And those two objectives, I think, are really hard to reconcile. Because then clearly needs to be, a method for bringing up talent that goes right down to adequate provisions of good training services, to good youth engagement and all that kind of thing. And it's reconciling the kind of wonderful sort of Lowry painting thing of a lower league football match, like the small stands and the fans who know each other and the genuine, it's very distant from the 21st century in some ways, and that's why it's so wonderful. But reconciling that with actually elite development in sport. And there's not some fundamental original sin here. I think that's the lesson of the Olympics, right? You get McKinsey in to look at what sports have the best return on investment for medals. And we win medals. I don't think it's impossible to make a winning English national team, but it's reconciling that with something that is valuable. And EPPP is clearly part of that, but exactly how it plays out, I don't think I'm well informed enough to totally pass judgment.